Hello everyone, and welcome to Warhammer, and we're finally here with my favorite faction of all time, Seraphon. I'm playing Seraphon for 8 years now, so I'm really excited about that. And you've got your asterisms, which we've already gone over in our short, so we're going to just pause here, let you pause if you need to, and then move on. Eternal Star Host, you got once per turn in your movement phase. You pick a friendly Seraphon unit holier than 12 of a Seraphon unit wizard. Roll dice on a 3-up, remove the unit from the battlefield, set it up again on the battlefield more than 9 from all enemy units. You've got Shadow Strike Star Host, where you get nimble and quick once per turn for your whole army. For your once per turn per army. In your shooting phase, you pick up the 3 friendly Skink Infantry or Skink Cavalry units that are not in combat. They can make a move of D6. They cannot move into combat during any part of that move. Sunfall Star Host, once per turn, at the end of any turn, you pick up to 3 friendly Saurus or Croc Score units that are in combat to be the target, and they make a pile-in move, and then pick an enemy unit in combat with the target and roll a d3. On a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the enemy unit equal to the roll. And then Thunderquake Star Host, you get Scaly Monstrosities, add 2 to the health of friendly Seraphon monsters. So pretty uh, simple battle formation there. For heroic traits, you've got Being of the Stars, ignore modifiers to save rolls for this unit, positive and negative. Reptilian Cunning, if this unit charges this turn, if a friendly unit wholly within 12 uses the all-out attack command in the command phase, no command points are spent. And Beastmaster, add 2 to the move of Seraphon Cavalry and Seraphon monster units for the rest of the phase if they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit at the start of the move. I think Being of the Stars is going to be your main one, but honestly, the other 2 aren't bad, and them being passives instead of like once per battle is really strong. You only got one once per battle enhancement, and that's one of your artifacts. That's the Collateral Familiar, and when you declare a spell ability, you can uh, basically let your Collateral Familiar fly off. I don't know. And you add d6 to the casting roll, so you would be rolling 3d6 instead of 2d6. But it pales in comparison with Incandescent Registers, which is in any hero phase, you heal d3 to this unit, so that's yours and your opponent's. And then Blood Rage Pendant, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of their melee weapons, add 2 instead if the number of damage points allocated to this unit is equal to or greater than half of its health characteristic, rounding up. That's a pretty good one as well. Give your characters a little bit more damage. It's not as great though because it doesn't apply to the mount, so your Seraphon characters really do more damage with their mounts than anything else. But got 2 spell lures. The first, this lure of Celestial Manipulation. Your unlimited spell is Mystical Unforging, casting value of 6. This is a crazy good spell. Pick a friendly Seraphon Wizard and a visible enemy within 12. It's a short range, but you subtract 1 from the rend of the target's weapons until the start of your next turn. So you remember how, like, with your Being of the Stars, you could ignore saves. Well, you can't modify your save, but you can modify your opponent's rend. Makes your army a lot tankier, makes your wizard a lot tankier. Casting value 7, Comet's Call. Pick a friendly Seraphon Wizard. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18. Roll dice for each model in the target unit. For each 5-up, inflict immortal damage on the target. Pretty standard, new Age of Sigmar spell. And then casting value 6, Speed of Huanchi. Pick a friendly Seraphon Wizard to cast this spell. Pick a friendly Seraphon unit holier than 12 to be the target. Till the next turn, they can run and still shoot and charge. Pretty standard ability there. Then you've got the lore of Primal Jungles, so this is kind of your coalesced lore. You've got the Light of Chotek as your unlimited. I think this is actually a really great one. Casting value of 6, you roll a number of dice equal to the number of damage points the target has. For each 4-up, you heal 1 to the target. this could be crazy. Um, so it's not going to be super helpful on things like Lord Croak, but on like some of your big monsters, this will be super useful, especially if you said it's like Thunderquake and your monsters have like 18 wounds each. So if you take 9 damage, you have on average you're gaining 4 or 5 health back. Uh, so pretty good heal. Um, your hero phase, the earth trembles, casting value of 8. Pick a friendly Seraphon wizard to cast a spell. Pick a point on the battlefield within 18. Draw a straight line. Roll d3 for each unit, friendly and enemy, that has models passed across on the line. On a 2-up, inflicts an amount of mortal damage on that unit equal to the roll. And then Empowered Celestite, casting value of 7. Pick a friendly Seraphon wizard. Pick a visible friendly source unit wholly within 12. Add 1 to the rend of their attacks. So basically a more offensive version of those spells uh, beforehand. Lord Croak, not too much has changed with his rules, except he's actually a little worse, which is unfortunate. He does have a War of 4 up now, which is really nice. Um, so you add 2 to casting rolls. They can use Unbind anywhere instead of 30 within 30, and same for Banish Manifestation. So unlimited unbinds, range wise. At the end of any turn, you use Dead for innumerable ages. This unit must use this ability each turn while it is damaged. You roll 3d6, so average roll of 11, and add the number of damage points this unit has to the roll. On a 20 plus, this unit is destroyed. Otherwise, heal 18 this unit. So this is good. It could be a lot better. It was a lot better when it was heal to full this unit. He's an expensive 460 points, I think. So, yeah. Arcane Vassal is about the same, except it's only once per turn now. So you pick Friendly Skink Wizard wholly within 18, and you measure the range and visibility of the next spell ability from this unit, from the target instead of from this unit. Celestial Deliverance, casting value of 7. It can be cast more than once per phase. Pick up to 3 visible enemy units within 12. Roll d3 for each target. On a 2-up, inflicts an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. Don't like that it's still on that once you've rolled for it, you still have to roll to actually do damage. But it could be good with things like magical intervention, so where you could cast this technically 4 times in the battle round. Depends on if you get surrounded. He's a little bit more niche now. Uh, Slam Star Master, Massive Order, he gets +1 to cast instead of +2. And Slam, he Croak was a Wizard 3, and the Slan is a Wizard 3. Used to be the Croak was a Wizard 4. Um, but Slan also can banish anywhere on the battlefield. Um, has a ward of 6 up now. Celestial Equilibrium, casting value of 6. So um, you basically just get to add 1 to casting rolls made by other Seraphon wizards wholly within 12. You get the same Arcane Vassal ability, but the thing that kind of makes him more important than Crook now is the once per turn Celestial Reinforcements. You pick a friendly Seraphon unit with 3 or more models that have been destroyed to be the target. Roll a dice. On a 4-up, set up a replacement unit with half the number of models from the target unit, rounding up, wholly within 12 of this unit and more than 9 from all enemy units. That means you can resurrect Grok scores with these guys. Grok score's real good. It's tough though, it's a 50% chance, so on average you can bring back, well, let's just assume you didn't lose anything. You could probably bring back 1, no, 2 units. Skink Oracle on Troglodon. Um, he does some crit mortals, can shoot in combat. I think he's gotten better, except that his Arcane Vassal is not buffed like it used to be. He's a Wizard 1. Noxious Roar, as his Rampage, you pick up to 3 enemy units in combat. On a 3-up, subtract 1 from hit rolls for the target's attacks for the rest of the turn. He's not a super tacky character. So sorry, my dog's on my lap and he's messing with my keyboard. If you saw that to the left. Terror, subtract 2 from the control scores of enemy units while they are in combat with this unit, and at the end of any turn, heal D3 to this unit. So this guy with incandescent buttresses can heal D3 at the start of any turn and at the end of any turn. So you can make him pretty tanky. He's not super killy, but I don't know, crit mortal 3 damage could be pretty good. It's that 4 up to hit that's keeping him down. Source Old Blood on Carnosaur. 14 health. Um, so you could bring him up to 16 with Thunderquake. I've already gone over his worst roll for the most part. If he's charged, add 1 to charge rolls for friendly source units while they're wholly within 18 of this unit. He's got the same terror rule, and then if this unit is in combat with a damaged enemy monster, roll dice on a 3-up. This unit gets strike first. It's all right. I think the Scar Veteran's rampage ability is better, but we'll get to that soon. Source Scar Veteran on Agrodon. These guys do a lot of damage for heavy cavalry. I've done some statistical analysis, and they do more damage than things that are more expensive than them, but they're a little less tanky than things that are more expensive to them. So it's really interesting. But at the end of any turn, Primal Rage, they must use this ability each turn. If this unit used any fight abilities this turn, place a rage token next to it to a maximum of 3. This unit did not use any fight tokens, fight abilities, remove all rage tokens. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this unit's companion weapons for each rage token. So you can get up to 6 attacks with his Agrodon if he's in combat for 3 turns. Once per battle in a combat phase, you basically get to place an extra rage token on him. Can only get 3 per unit still, but you get to give it to Agrodon Lancers near him as well. So it gives you an extra attack at the start of the combat phase, so can get you stacking that faster. So you're probably going to do this on your first turn, honestly. Agrodon Lancers, pretty good heavy cavalry, lots of damage. Anti-monster is the interesting thing with their weapons. And they have the same Primal Rage ability. Not too many abilities, but they do a lot of damage. Source Warriors, we've kind of already gone over. They get a 3-up save while each model in this unit is contesting an objective you control. So they're good defensively. Source Guard, one of the best battle wounds or effective wounds per points. 2 health, 3-up save, 3 attacks, 3-up rend 1/1 damage, pretty decent there. And then while any friendly slan units are within this unit's combat range, both this and the slan get a ward of 5-up. So makes them pretty survivable with a 3-up save, 5-up ward, and 2 health apiece. And they're only 110 points. Skink Starseer, really good. You've got the once per battle ability where you roll a number of dice equal to the current battle round. For each 3-up, pick a friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 18. The unit has a ward of 5-up until the start of your next turn. I actually didn't see that it was once per battle. I don't think he's as good anymore, but his spell is still really good. Celestial Doom, casting value of 7. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18. Ward rolls can't be made for the target for the rest of the turn. That's super strong against like demons, Daughters of Cain, death units. Just ignoring their ward means you get that extra edge of damage. Skink Star Priest, you got Serpent Staff. Pick a visible friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 18. Roll dice on a 2-up. The target's melee weapons have crit auto wound for the start until the start of your next turn. Must take. Like we already knew he was a must take. He always has been pretty much a must take. You pop that on a Carnosaur, and or any unit and they no longer have to make wound rolls. Heck, uh, for their crits, I should say. So you still have to hit well. It could be decent on skinks even. Skinks are 100 points. Speaking of which, a little pricey in my opinion, especially since they got less tanky, because they used to have a 5-up save. But when they use the redeploy command, when determining the distance, you can roll 2 dice instead of 1 and pick either result. So can retreat faster, doesn't have to be in combat. 2 attacks, 4 up, no rend, 1 damage, 12-inch range, can shoot in combat. Okay, being able to shoot in combat could be worth it. Could be worth it. Spawn a Chotek. You've got some pretty gnarly shooting attacks and combat attacks, honestly. Um, you've got a crew of 3 Sun Acolytes that are token. You add 1 to this unit's control score for each Sun Acolyte it has. If this unit has no Sun Acolytes, it has a maximum control score of 1. Each time you make an unmodified save roll of 1, you lose a Sun Acolyte. Damage point is still inflicted. But then passive is Acid Fueled Flame. Each time you make a shoot, you either use the Glob of Flame Acid or the Stream of Fire. The Glob of Flame Acid, if any damage points are allocated to an enemy unit, subtract 1 from the save rolls for that unit. So, for 1, it can chew through your armor, and then later on, it helps you do more damage. Raptidon Hunters, actually one of the best cavalry options in the game. The best one that I've seen so far. To be fair, I haven't as far as cost effective to damage. That's because of their Rend 2 allows. It's just amazing to have Rend 2 shooting attacks. Not shooting combat, note that, which is the annoying part, but if it's not in combat, pick a friendly Raptidon Chargers unit that charges this turn, which is within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. This can then shoot as if it's your shooting phase. So it can shoot it twice. So 10 shots, 4 up, Rend 2, 1 damage. Pretty powerful. Raptidon Chargers are your melee version. They're okay. They get extra damage on the charge, and then add 1 to hit rolls if they target an enemy unit that was targeted by shooting attacks from Raptidon Hunters in the same turn. Not too hard to do with the ability for the Raptidon Hunters to shoot twice, but them hitting on 4s and 4s kind of hurt. My dog is messing with me. Hunters with Huanshi with dart pipes. Dart pipes are 10-inch range, 2 attacks, 3 up, no rend, 1 damage, crit auto wound. If it's not been deployed, you can set up an ambush. You can, in your movement phase, set up anywhere on the battlefield, more than 9 from enemy unit. And then Star Venom, you pick an enemy unit that's had any damage points allocated to it this turn by their dart pipes on a 2-up, subtract 1 from wound rolls for their combat attacks. And then they've got a ward of 5 up to be their camouflage ability. But they only have a save of 6 up. I think that, yeah, they only come in a unit of 5, but it's like 80 points or 90 points. The Hunters have launched you with Starstone Bolas, do less damage in shooting, same chameleon ambush abilities, but their bolas, you pick an enemy unit that's targeted by their bolas, so doesn't even have to do any damage with their bolas. On a 3-up until the start of your next turn, subtract 1 from the number of dice rolled when making charge rolls. So really useful to kind of slow down enemies. Terror Wings. 3 attacks, 4 up, no rend, 1 damage. They're beast, and you pick an enemy unit within 10, roll a d3. If it exceeds the control characteristic, they can't use commands. We're going to go through quickly the rest of the thing. Arcosotek looking a little bit better. You pick up to 3 different enemy units within 9. Once per turn, you roll a d3 for each target on a 2-up inflicted amount of mortal damage equal to the roll, so able to do mortal damage a little bit more standard. You got crit 2 hits on Solar Engine now, which is crazy. And then it's a Rampage ability. You pick an enemy target, roll a dice for each model to a maximum of 8. For each 5-up, inflict mortal damage. So really strong against uh, infantry. Pterodon Chief, not much to say about phase, but in your movement phase, pick an enemy unit that is this unit passed across, roll dice, and add 2 to the result of this unit so within the combat range of any friendly Pterodon riders on a 5-up, inflict D3 mortal damage. And if they don't have fly, they can't run. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for shooting attacks that target the unit. Pterodon have basically the same ability, except it's 1 instead of D3. Yep. But it's for each model, so you could do 3. Uh, Same attack from on high. Ripperdactyl Chief, you receive a bloat toad for each Ripperdactyl Chief or Rider to a maximum of 3 tokens. Pick a number of enemy units equal to the number of bloat toads. Place a bloat toad token by each one. Once per battle, you can add 1 to the attacks of their war spears used by friendly Ripperdactyl riders holding within 12, and add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the Ripperdactyl's jaws if it's in combat with a unit that has a bloat toad on it. It's not as good as it used to be, but Ripperdactyl riders, kind of same anti-cavalry, toad rage, bloat toads. Sticking on chief, you pick the bow or the sunfire thrower. Sunfire thrower is actually pretty good now because it has a number of attacks um, instead of what it used to be, which was number of models in the enemy unit. So that's good. Um, then you've got crushing stomps once per turn in any combat phase. You roll a d3 on a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage equal on the target equal to the roll. Add 2 to the amount if it charged. And then if a friendly non-monster skink uses redeploy within 18, no command points are spent. So that's pretty powerful. Stegodon once per turn in any charge phase, rampage ability. Pick an enemy infantry unit that it charged, inflict d3 mortal damage on the target. Can then move 2d6. It can pass through models in target but must end in combat. And then Engine of the Gods. While this unit has 10 or more damage, you get the 4 attacks. But Crest of Horns, Rampage, you pick an enemy unit that charge, roll d3 on a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll, and add 1 to save rolls for attacks made by that enemy unit that target this unit for the rest of the turn. Then you've got your Cosmic Engine. You can reserve or harness the power. If you reserve, you get a Cosmic Power token. If you harness, you roll dice, add the number of Cosmic Power tokens to the roll. Uh, then remove all Cosmic Power tokens from the unit and pick one of the following effects if possible. 3-up, you heal D3 all friendly Seraphon units wholly within 12. 5-up, you can pick 3 friendly Seraphon units wholly within 12, return a slain model. That's a powerful one. And time slows on a 6-up, you pick 3 friendly Seraphon units wholly within 12, they get strike first. I think this is going to be a pretty cool unit. We'll see how powerful. Realm Shaper Engine, you get Fierce Guardians. You add 1 to hit rolls for combat attacks made by friendly Saurus or Croc score that target enemy units wholly within 9. And then Power Unleashed. If there are any friendly Seraphon wizards within 3 inches, pick another terrain feature within 24 inches. Pick up to 3 enemy units within 3 inches of that terrain feature. Roll a d3 for each target. On a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. If the terrain has a health characteristic, inflict a d3 mortal damage on it. Source Astrolith Bearer, Celestial Conduit. When you declare a spell ability for a friendly Seraphon wizard, if it's successfully cast, add 3 to the control scores of friendly Seraphon units wholly within 12. Friendly Seraphon infantry units have a ward of 6-up while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. If the unit already has a ward of 6-up, it has a ward of 5-up instead. Proc score War Bond, add 1 to the damage that target while they're wholly within 12 inches of skink infantry or skink cavalry. And then you subtract 1 from the rend of ranged weapons used for shooting attacks that target this unit. Regular Croc score, add 1 to the damage of their melee weapons that target an enemy unit that has 10 or more models. These are both super killy character or monstrous infantry. Sword Scar Veteran on Carnosaur. This is a long episode, I'm sorry. 14 health. kind of does good damage. Once per turn at the end of any turn, you've got Rampage. You pick an enemy hero in combat. You roll a number of dice equal to the number of damage points the target has for each 5-up and inflict immortal damage, and it's got the same terror ability. Source Old Blood on foot. You've got the Wrath of the Seraphon. For the rest, it's a once per battle, add 1 to wound rolls for Source Infantry wholly within 12. And then when you declare a fight for this unit, you can pick a Source Infantry unit that is not used to fight after it. You get an Old Blood on Chronosaur, 2 units of 5 Source Warriors, and 3 Kroxigor. You get the Beast of the Dark Jungles. You pick one of the following for your general. Um, in each combat phase, you either can pick an enemy unit in combat, and if the roll exceeds the health characteristic, a model in the unit is slain, or you pick an enemy in combat and subtract d6 from their control score. Regiment abilities, you get either Predatory Fighters, roll dice for each enemy unit in combat with any friendly units on a 3-up inflict mortal damage, or Temple City Guardians, friendly units have a 6-up while they're fully within friendly territory. A 6-up horde is going to be the better one. Sotek's Gaze, roll a dice, add the roll to your general's control score this turn at the end of any turn. Passive Blade of Realities, add 1 to the Rend. That's going to be the one you take probably. Ancient Strategist, once per battle, pick a friendly unit wholly within 12. They can use the normal move as if it's your movement phase. Nah. You can't pick your general. Wrath of Chotek, the attack characteristic of your Sunbolt Gauntlet is 6 instead of d6. Meh. And then you've got your rules, which we've already gone over in mostly. Overall, I think this is going to be very strong army. I am very excited to play many different ways you can play this army. Want to do some healing options, some mass infantry, and see how that goes. I want to do some skink cavalry shenaniganery with uh, Ripperdactyls, Pterodons, Raptidons. I want to do Agrodon heavy cavalry. Gonna be a lot, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna end it here because this is already going a long episode. Let me know what you're most excited to see in the next edition, especially from Seraphon. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, I think that the Stormcast is probably going to be a 2-part episode because if this was 27 minutes, Stormcast is probably going to be 30, 40 minutes. But let me know if you'd rather see it in 1 part or 2 parts, and I'll do my best. All right, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.